Hey guys, Huzzy here bringing you another video. So today's video is something a bit different. It is a league discussion, but about reporting. So this is the series that I take your topics, I rip them apart with my own opinions and experiences and encourage you guys to join in the conversation in the comment section below. But yeah, we're going to be covering reporting because it's a subject that is a lot of, I don't know, controversy, or there's different rules, there's different ideals about what people do and don't report people for. So I thought I'd just give my 2 cents about the topic. Now I was going to do a Road to Diamond 1 today. I'm going to record some today. But this is pretty important to me because at the moment I'm leveling the new Smurf, the new unranked to Diamond Smurf. I'm in the process of leveling it right now, and people have honestly no idea of what a valid report is. You know, people are trying to report each other just for playing bad. They're reporting other people for just random stuff when that is useless. Now, just to quickly mention how the reporting system works in League of Legends, to my own knowledge, this is how it works. You know, I've gained this knowledge of, you know, throughout the years of forum posts from rioters, talking to some rioters. Basically how it works is everybody, when you begin an account, you just have a neutral report action. So if you report somebody, it has a neutral outcome. It could do damage to them, it could not do damage to them, depending if it was a valid report. If you always report people and your reports are basically useless, your report in time will become useless. So if you report something, it's like basically cry wolf or cry sheep. So it's like the kid that goes, there's a wolf over there, but there isn't really a wolf. And then people stop believing him. That's how the report system works. If you keep reporting people for no reason, your reports very soon are going to become completely worthless. A lot of people are like that in League of Legends. So if you're somebody right now that is watching this video like, oh, I report loads of people and I don't ever get that little pop-up saying they've been punished, it's probably because your reports probably mean nothing because you report too many people for not valid reasons. Then it can go the other way, that if you report people and you only report people when they actually get punished and they're valid reports, your reports actually mean more. It's kind of like the tribunal system, but it does it for the report system. Like me personally, I'd say once every 2 weeks, I get one of them pop-ups saying someone that you have reported has been punished. Because I only report people when it's a valid report. In my own head, I always think, is that actually a valid report before I click send? And I would recommend you guys to do that as well. But let's go into the actual topics of what is valid to report, what is not valid to report. So first one, toxicity. Yes, that is obviously valid to report. Now some people say, what level of toxicity? The level of toxicity that is a valid report option is any level that you feel uncomfortable from that person is a reportable offense. So if they're bad-mouthing you, if you're forced to mute them because they're toxic, that's a reportable offense. If they're doing anything to make your gaming experience worse by being toxic, that you can report them, and that is a valid report. What isn't a valid report is constructive criticism. So if you are somebody that just cannot take criticism very well, you're in game and like, hey, build this item, don't be there, that type of thing, that is not a reportable offense. If they get offensive, then yeah, sure it is, but if it's just constructive criticism, it's not a reportable offense. Moving on, another reportable offense is, say you go into the new dynamic system and you're given mid lane and you're like, nah, I'm going to top lane. That is a reportable offense. If you do not play the intended role without asking your teammates for a swap, that is a reportable offense. Riot Light has come out and said that already. Now, other things, you know, there's some other things, you know, AFKing is obvious. If you go AFK any part of the game, if you go AFK for 2 minutes, that is a reportable offense because you have been AFK. And I know a lot of people say that's harsh, but it is actually true. So if you only AFK for a little bit every now and then, you go grab a drink, you go to the toilet, and you do that often while you're in games, and then you suddenly get a suspension for AFKing, you might be surprised. Like, I don't AFK a lot, but it does add up. So yeah, AFKing for any amount of time does count. Feeding intentionally, obviously, yes. If literally somebody in your team, now this is one that a lot of people have a hardship with actually determining the difference between a troll report and a legit report. So if you have somebody in your team that literally just running into the enemy team on purpose, down mid lane, etc., that is a reportable offense. If somebody's just having a bad game and they just keep dying over and over, but they're continuing to play, their build path is still going okay, they're trying to last hit, that is not a reportable offense. They are not intentionally feeding, they are just feeding. There is a difference there, and a lot of people need to know the difference. Intentionally feeding is you're literally just throwing yourself at the enemy team. Feeding is you're just getting beat, and that is not a reportable offense. You know, before there used to be a category called unskilled player. A lot of people, this category basically was a placebo. It didn't do anything. There was rumors that it kind of lowered someone's MMR if they got reported enough for it, but I think that was kind of squashed. That wasn't a thing. It was a placebo. So it was for them people They got very angry that somebody on their team really fed pretty bad, so they just used to throw that unskilled player report there that did nothing. And it's a clever thing, you know, sometimes people have frustration and it helps the system kind of just wave out all the stupid reports. But yeah, just to kind of make that clear, intentionally feeding and feeding are different things. Other things that are, you know, reportable and not reportable. So I'll just give an example because, as I mentioned, I'm leveling my new Smurf right now, the Unranked Diamond Smurf. There was a Xin Zhao in one of the games. You know, I'm not here to make fun or anything, but yeah, he was terrible at the game, had no awareness. He was jungling, and he literally walked into lanes, ran into the lane to do a gank, did nothing, and then just walk out of lane. He did that throughout the game. Then he suicided a few times, like just walked into lane. We killed him because he just walked into lane, and then he would blame the enemy bot lane. And then he said report the enemy bot lane when he was the problem. One big part of advice I actually have to make is most people, and I'm going to just say this right now, if you are not a level-headed person, majority of the time that you are somebody in all chat going, report that person, you are actually the person that probably should get reported. I know that sounds kind of weird, but it's true for a lot of people. You know, me, I'm somebody that only reports people when I think it's necessary, where most people, they throw out reports left, right, and center. And if you're that type of person, you're actually the person that's one of the problems. You know, like false reports and not legit reports are a big problem in this game. You know, I think it's part and parcel why the community is so bad. Because if everybody only reported people when it was actually needed, everybody's reports would matter, therefore people would get punished. But most people would throw so many reports out that their reports mean nothing. That's why so many toxic people remain, because everybody's reports don't mean anything. So I'm somebody that wishes the tribunal system will come back, like Overwatch in Counter-Strike Go. I'd love that to come back in League. Because I'd love to make a series that I go into the tribunal and do case-by-case videos to show you what is toxic and what's not toxic. You know, I'm somebody that's played this game for a very long time, and yeah, I know a thing or two. But that's going to do it for this League discussion. Just thought I'd very briefly go over reporting because it's an important thing, and I was getting very frustrated when I was leveling my Smurf and people were going in all chat, report that guy, when they were doing nothing wrong. So that's going to do it. So thank you very much for watching the video or listening. Throw a like on it if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't. And I'll see you guys next time. See ya.